Ben Yagnik, these visuals coming in from your state, Ahmedabad city, the Prime Minister on a chariot of sorts and understandably being welcomed by thousands of BJP women cadre, expressing gratitude, a thank you for rolling out the women reservation bill. But how do you see it now being translated as a possible calling card for votes, Ben Yagnik? You have a 5-state election and then the general election.
First of all, the bill had 2 caveats and 2 conditions, and they are remaining there in the amendment. And that is that you should have a caste census and there should be a delimitation before you bring this 1/3 reservation in the Lok Sabha and the Assembly. Now, well, there can be celebrations of all kinds in a party and without the party or anywhere. But the concern, real concern for women, reservation, I think there should have been some 2 or 3 women on the chariot also, along with the Honorable Prime Minister and the 2 other officials or the persons of the Bharatiya Janata Party from Gujarat. That would have done it. They could also have announced that we have a state Women Rights Commission which has no chairperson, Mahila chairperson. We are unable to give any data on crimes against women in Ahmedabad city alone. And the primary infrastructure for primary schools is without teachers. And the infrastructure, physical infrastructure is so poor, yet we have come out with a reservation bill and we support it, but there will be a caveat. So the timeline is not known, but we can celebrate. That is the message that is going across. And this is, I think, a very common visual. Sometimes it happens in Delhi BJP office, sometimes it happens in Gujarat, more often in Gujarat for a while. But the fact remains that the ground reality as far as women reservation is there, the timeline is too long and too uncertain.
All right, the timeline is too long, too uncertain. But Ben Yagnik, one thing can be said very clearly. The sheer fact that it was passed, and it was passed under the Prime Minister's watch. It might have started in 96 under Gowda. You might have initiated reservation under the Prime Minister then, Rajiv Gandhi, but it happened on the Prime Minister's watch, and it is historic. When could we even imagine it would be cleared by the numbers that it would have been, that it was in Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha?
That's true that the Honorable Prime Minister is here when the historic bill is passed and every party has voted for it. And that is definitely a victory for India. But let me tell you, 1989 was the time when Rajiv Gandhi ji came with this vision, because when he saw the plight of women at the grassroots level, and he started wondering whether these women will ever get into the political arena and whether they will be able to take part in a democracy where their participation is a must in decision making. And ultimately, it would be gender justice and gender parity. That vision has translated today. It translated immediately in 92 by the 73rd and the 74th Amendment, because at that time it was very easy and it happened. And we have the Panchayati Raj system in place, the 3rd tier of the governance. And you have seen that the Minister of Panchayati Raj in the Parliament itself said that there have been 40% sarpanches are women today. And that shows the success of how this kind of reservation brings women into the center stage of decision-making processes. That was vision of Rajiv Gandhi ji. But we should not forget that time and again, Sonia ji reminded, Honorable President of the Congress Parliamentary Party wrote letters and demanded that it's high time that we should have the reservation for women in the Lok Sabha and the Assembly. But it was falling, practically not being heard, despite a majority government for 9 years. I mean, it is too late for such a government to come out with a bill of this kind. And all the parties have cooperated like nobody's business. Everyone was there to say that, yes, we are for women reservation. And that is why the victory is for all the women of this country.
All right, let's cut across to Charu Pragya also, who's joining us. Charu Pragya, understandably, it is a moment to celebrate. But this is also a moment, one would say, which belongs to the rest of the country as well, cutting across party lines. One would say it's astute politics to internalize it and use it for party purpose, to campaign, to take it further where it comes down to electioneering. But ultimately, shouldn't this moment have been left to the country, cutting across party lines, and not maybe milk it for a political moment?
Preeti, good evening. And no, I completely do not agree with you, because empowering women has not been simply an election gimmick for my party. And I say this with good reason. Let's remember that the last time this bill was tabled, we supported it without any fuss. Not like how this support is coming this time around, where on one side they say there is support, but a lot of ifs and buts have been introduced. That's the first thing. The second thing is, in our term, we have tabled it 4 times. And if getting consensus on this bill was so easy, please explain to me why none of the governments of the past were able to get this bill passed. We have, since the first day of Modi Sarkar, worked on ground to empower women. Since the first day, from Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao days to talking about registering the homes of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana in the names of women, worrying about their health, giving them Ujjwala Yojana, worrying about how the rest of their family will cope if somebody falls sick, Ayushman Yojana, taking care of their nutrition. I can go on and on, but let's not stay there. Let's come to what points were being raised by the member of opposition just now. She says caveats have been attached. I want to address these caveats. The first thing is, they say, why not now? Well, please tell me. I live in the city of Delhi. There are 7 parliamentary seats in my Delhi. Who's going to decide which of these 7 seats should be reserved for women? Do you think the government can decide this? Or do you think there should be a judicial process to it? Do you think these are randomly picked? Or do you
Charu
think
Pragya,
that there has to be
answer
a
one
survey?
question. Charu Pragya,
Yeah.
answer one question. How was
Sure.
Panchayati Raj seats reserved? How do we continue to give reservation for SC/ST, ma'am?
So SC/ST seats are going to be given now
We give
also, right,
reservation to
Preeti?
SC/ST. Panchayat Raj reservation for women happened on the basis of the 2011 census. So if that can happen, this can happen. Let's not get into, any red herring of sorts that this can't happen before a census. Yes, it can, ma'am. Go
No,
ahead.
Preeti, I think oversimplifying it is
Ma'am, how
not the
did
way
reservation
forward,
for
because
Panchayati Raj happen? I want to ask you. On a Panchayat Gram Sabha level, how did reservation happen?
on the panchayat level, the reservation has been continuing. I understand that. But now we are talking about all the assemblies. Now we are talking about the parliamentary seats. And
Premise will
picking
remain
these
same,
seats.
ma'am. If states can give reservation at a panchayati level, then what? It
And
can
even
happen.
if the premise remains same, tell me who's going to pick the seats, Preeti. I'm very specifically asking you who's going to pick the seats. And now you bring in this whole new game of the caste census. Now in 2010, that did not exist. Sonia ji can say that aapko jisko ticket dena hai, ab dijiye. There is no bar. I can also say this, that there is no bar. You give a ticket to OBCs. We have given tickets and made sure 37% of our MPs belong to the OBC community. Our Honorable Prime Minister is one. So there is no bar to this. Now, also, you want to divide our country on the basis of caste and religion. Has that been written anywhere in our constitution? And if this is a battle you want to fight, why do you want to fight it only for women? What happens till from the day of independence till now? Why did you never ask for this kind of a reservation on the general seats, SC seats, ST seats? You've never asked for an OBC reservation for elections up till now. Now, when we are talking of giving results to this battle women have been fighting for nearly 3 decades, you bring in one more equation. What are you trying to do? If you are unequivocally supporting this bill, you should have just said, let's get this passed. Let's support it. Okay. And now you want to take credit? Definitely. I will say that every single
Okay.
MP who has voted for this bill has been given due credit. But, ma'am, if it was so easy, then why did you not even table it in Lok Sabha in 2010? Why did you not even dare to table it? Table तो करते, पता तो चलता है कौन साथ दे रहा है, कौन साथ नहीं दे रहा. You would have come to know. You cannot even table a bill. We have the courage to not just table it, but table it at a time where we are certain we are going to get it passed. And you're asking questions of this government.